I wanted to talk a little bit about how to ensure or help music majors once you graduate from music school with your music performance degree, how to have a career, and more importantly, how to sustain a career as a musician, as a performing musician. Most, if not all, music programs are geared to put you through on the path to an orchestral job, which is highly unlikely to get. That leaves you with freelancing, and that's where most of us land. But even more than that, I think even today you need to do more than just freelance to help ensure that you stand out, especially for flute players, because there are so many of us. So if you're an amazing flute player and that's it, then your options are very limited. Reflecting on the freelance musicians that I know now or from the past 20 years or so, the ones that have really created a space for themselves for their music career are ones that, of course, they freelance, but they've done more than that. They created something like a podcast or a chamber music festival or something that they created that they could market and sell and put out. For example, just last week, I went to an online flute event sponsored by the Hawaii Flute Society. The guest was Hadar Neuberg. She has created also a method called the Sufficient Flutist that incorporates some improvisation techniques, and honestly I'm not really sure, but I know she's known for having created this the Sufficient Flutist method, and I've seen her online through my feed, so she's a name I know of. So she's created a name for herself, a recognizable name, by doing more than just being a standard traditional flute player, freelance flute player. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm thinking that the musicians of us that are going to last the longest really are the ones that have created something special or unique that sets them apart. This Hadar Neuberg, that's a great example of that. Some of my other freelance friends, not just flute players, but a bunch of different ones that I think of that have been able to sustain, financially a career as a performing musician, have done things like, and I mentioned, created a chamber music festival. So with something like that, you would have to know how to find and write grants, how to create it into a not-for-profit 301c or whatever it would be. I obviously have no idea, but you have to know how to go about doing that or figure it out online. That's something I really wish music schools would educate people on, is how to create a business. Because that's what you're going to need. Another flute friend of mine from Chicago created this workshop online that explores all modern flute techniques and contemporary flute sounds, etc. So she's way into that and created this workshop online where she's charging money for her expertise and getting people together online for this workshop, which is just a really great thing. I've seen various other musician friends of mine that have started podcasts where they're interviewing other musicians, or a violinist friend has started a podcast where she just talks, but she talks about like the more traditional route of an orchestral musician, how to take auditions, how to get the most out of your practicing, stuff like that. But she has created an online source of income where she runs this podcast. A trumpet player friend of mine has created some kind of like trumpet combined with meditation, mind, body, something workshop. I think she goes to the universities and presents this class and or does stuff online. So you really be creative in utilizing, for most of these examples, the internet, and thinking a little outside of the box from what college only trained you to do, which is mastery of your instrument, which is very important, it's vital, but then just taking you straight line to an orchestra job, which isn't there. There's no job there for most of us. So other skills I wish, I wish the college would teach, music schools would teach, is like how to hold a workshop online, or how to even teach lessons online. How do you share your screen? What is the best platform for hearing, like if you're teaching lessons for the sound quality. These are all really important things to know that I'm pretty sure are never ever covered in any real way in music school. I mean, of course you can figure it out as you go, which is what we're all doing. All the examples I gave they're really great for freelance musicians to just think about what you could possibly give or create for a couple reasons. The main one is it creates another income stream, which is what freelancing is all about. And then the other thing is, I believe I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, it really makes you stand out. You know, you can still do all your freelancing gigs, but it puts your name out there and could possibly create opportunities where you're hired to do your presentations. I know flute clubs a lot these days are considering people who have a presence online now more than ever. So that had never, been considered before. Where again, like Nadar or Hadar, the flute player, the Hawaii Flute Society was seeking someone out for a presentation that would be done online, because a little unique to Hawaii, but we have all the different islands, so trying to get different people from Maui and Big Island, Oahu, etc., to be able to join in on this particular presentation. But regardless, I think a lot of flute clubs are thinking about options to do. I know the Chicago Flute Club actually has online presentations pretty regularly, along with in-person things. Anyway, I just wanted to put out my thoughts, being a longtime freelancing flute player, and knowing that the more different skills you have or can learn, it's just a really great thing as a freelancer to be open to learning new skills. And again, like I said, makes you stand out in an oversaturated field of orchestral players. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I have lots of videos on how to be a freelancer, the pros and cons of freelancing, how do you get started in freelancing, all things about freelancing. I have a lot of videos up. You might want to check them out. I have a playlist all on freelancing. And thanks for checking out this video, and I hope to see you at the next one.